as women, we have such a powerful network among each other.
Yep.
We have female friends that we talk to about everything to great detail. We have siblings, sisters, we share a lot, right? And what that does is also create a net that catches you very quickly. So, when I was depressed, I had a group of my friends who had also had children who were very quick to tell me, this is not normal. You're not supposed to feel like this. It's not supposed to be this hard. You need to see someone about this.
Sure.
And I feel like that's that net that catches you. Do men have that net?
No, we don't. And I often asked, I've thought about this a lot. I've asked why.
Yeah.
You realize that as tough as it is for women out there in the world, in a man's world today, I can assure you it is as tough, if not tougher, for a man in a man's world. Because nobody has empathy for us. Nobody gives us any cushion room. Nobody does us any favors. It's a crab mentality. Everyone's trying to get ahead of the next person. And a lot of feminists or a lot of people who are feminists of the original kind would disagree with me perhaps. But I genuinely believe that, and today as a husband and as a father, I can tell you there's no respite for me.
Explain that to me.
I have to, no one's going to do me favors. I may get favors in a government office because of who I am, right? But I won't get any favors in the real world with the work I'm trying to do. No one's going to pull out any chairs for me or do favors for me or open doors for me. I have to hustle and do that myself, right? It doesn't matter if I'm a former cricketer or if I'm a World Cup champion or anything, because if I'm making my way in another walk in life, I'll probably have it easy in cricket. But if I'm doing, say, for example, with the work I'm doing with life sciences and life coaching and the performance mentorship and all of that, no one's opening doors for me. I'm hustling. And I have to hustle. It does not matter that I'm a World Cup winning player. I have to do it myself. I have to do that time. There's no shortcut.
You believe that's harder for men?
It is. I genuinely feel
Why
it's harder.
so?
Because I feel it's harder for men because, like I said, nobody wants you to get ahead. You have to forge your way ahead yourself. And even if by nature you're not alpha, on some level you have to operate with that mentality to even get even, to get even Stevens with the next guy. Forget being at the top of your game. It's the super alpha. Like I'm telling you, as an Indian cricketer, if you have to get to that level, you have to have that alpha mentality. You can't get there if you don't. You just have to. You can't get there if you don't.
So you're saying that there's no kindness, there's no empathy, there's
zero, -10 perhaps. There's no kindness whatsoever. There's no empathy whatsoever. None. In fact, it's quite the opposite. And we genuinely, I have asked myself why. I've asked myself why multiple times. Why is it like that here? Why? Okay, because we as men don't speak and don't share. Why don't we share? And I narrowed it down to why as Indian men don't we share? Then you go back and think about it logically. I landed on this. We're a relatively young country, right? We were under the British rule for about 250 years since 1947. We're probably 76, 77 years old today as a country.
Yes.
Which is far younger than, say, America, that we compare ourselves to. The British Empire in the UK, maybe over 1,000 years old. We're only 77 years old. And that means our fathers and grandfathers and grandparents all lived on survival mentality. When you live on survival mentality, you can't think of thriving. You were trying to populate the country while trying to survive and feed everyone that was in the family. No one's thinking about, I want to make this amount of money, I want to leave this legacy, I want to earn this much money, I want to buy these kind of houses, I want to have 5 houses here and there and there. How many of those kind of people are there in our country? Maybe less than 100 at that point in time. Very few people thrived. Most of us survived. So the mentality that was passed through was there's no room for anything. Survive and get on.
Yeah.
So as men, you're hustling, whether you're a farmer, whether you're a factory worker, whether you're a corporate, whether you're a banker, you're going to work, you're hustling, coming back and just surviving. You're making do. We survived till the 1990s and then financially we started doing slightly well. It is only my generation, our generation and probably the ones after us where we shift into the thinking of let's thrive. Everyone else before us, our parents were surviving. So for men at that point to talk about their mental health or how hard it is, the concept itself did not exist.
Because, for me, when I was watching your videos on your YouTube page, it was very easy. It could have been easy for you to have made that journey and say, okay, now I'm okay. I've got a handle on my life. I know what I'm doing. You don't necessarily have to bare your soul to the world. It's a really brave, tough thing to do over and over in 3 different languages,
Yeah.
which I appreciate. Was there I can tell every time you tell the story, your voice shakes a little bit because you're reliving it.
Yeah, and today it's from a place of gratitude, because today I don't think I would be able to do the work I'm doing today if I hadn't gone through that. Today, the amount of empathy I have for people who go through this also exists because I've been through that journey. Today, my wife's going through prenatal postpartum depression. I'm able to navigate that with her because nobody talks about the impact it has on a relationship.
Yeah.
How many people actually talk about, how many men actually talk about the fact that I'm supporting my wife who's going through prenatal postpartum depression? Man, it's hard for me.
Yeah.
I need an avenue to talk about this.
Yeah.
We can't. We don't have that avenue. And today I'm doing this more for men, and I'm doing it genuinely more from showing people what true masculinity is, because I don't think it's being stoic all the time.
Because we do also create these setup where basically you're being strong for everyone. So you don't want to show the family that you're worried about something.
Yeah.
You don't want to show your team at work or the people that you work with that you're worried about something. And with friends, it's normally competitive about,
Sure.
Arey, pata hai, mera investment is now at this point. And, I did this at work and now it's so amazing. So there is actually no space where you can just say, you know what, I'm really scared about this. This is really hard for me.
I experience a lot of that when I'm playing matches or when I'm playing tournaments with my mates, and I experienced that through my cricketing career. And I've been someone who's actively chosen to be vulnerable to my friends. So I really like the friends I have today. I'm super grateful to God for. Are friends that I share deep, meaningful relationships with. And that exists because I choose to be vulnerable with them. And when I choose to be vulnerable with them, I create a space for them to be vulnerable with me. And when I do that, it makes more deeper and meaningful friendships.